partially in.
I think we're live.
We're
We're
so
so
live.
Welcome to The Solution, a real estate podcast where Jeff Seabach, Phil Sexton, we are talking to real estate agents. We are talking about real estate content, and we wrap it all around how now it's time to focus the conversation about consumers and talk to agents that are putting the consumer first. And we are on a Rising Star series. And right now we have a rising
Yeah,
star.
no, he's on a rocket
When we were
ship.
asking him for his team numbers, he said, well, year to date, he's at 30 million. And we said, well, how much did you do last year? He's like, I don't know. I just started the team.
Okay, but maybe because it was like, 17 million of his own production last year to 30 million, still pretty outstanding.
Pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Blake Clark to the show.
Yay!
That is the studio audience going wild.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
You guys are good.
So, all right, good deal. So so what part of town do you work in?
Queen Creek.
Queen Creek.
Yeah, Gilbert, Chandler, far East Valley. That's where we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time at. Yeah.
Awesome. And you've been with HomeSmart for about a year now.
HomeSmart a year ago this month, actually. Yeah, October of last year, right after Halloween came.
So maybe why did you choose brokerage or recently make a change?
This is going to sound crazy. So my old brokerage, I started, his name was Rick Ashby, really good guy, Ashby Realty Group, small guy, really successful in what he's doing. He's been doing it a long time. He took me under his wing and mentored me when I got into the business. He's a really good guy. Learned a ton from him. But because he was small, there was no teams there at all. So it worked out great for me individually as an agent. It was good. And he taught me everything. And then, when the team thing came about, which we can talk about, it was completely unintentional. It was actually forced on by my wife. But I went to him and said, hey, I want to start a team. And he was a little hesitant because he didn't have anybody. Honestly, like neither one of us knew what the heck we were doing. I'm just like, it wasn't like I could go to my broker and say, hey, how do these other guys structure teams? He was just like, whatever, we'll roll with it. We started getting busy, and he was actually heading into retirement. He's getting ready to retire actually right now. His house sold, and he's moving in 2 weeks up to Snowflake.
Good for him.
Yeah.
We're all kind of working towards that right
Good
now.
guy. Like, dude is just, I'm still really good friends with him. Just really good guy. But it just got to the point where he was going this way, and I was going this way. And so we just had to switch brokerages to a place that was willing to accept my team to want to grow and open up doors and possibilities for us. So it was a tough move.
Nice.
I had to really think about it.
Was there anyone particular over at HomeSmart that you gravitate to learn it, or you just knew that because they got 5,000 agents?
I was in Queen Creek, and the broker Stephanie, she's my broker, Stephanie Sandoval, she's my broker. She called me for like 2 years. She was trying to get me to go over there.
Oh, nice.
And I was a loyal guy. I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying with my Rick. He's a good guy. And it just was like the right place, right time. Like we had a talk with him. My broker Rick's like, I'm slowing down into retirement, and this is what I'm doing. And like her ears must have been ringing. It was the craziest thing. She called me like that day. Still have a spot for you if you want to come over. I was like, you know what? And
timing is everything, right?
When did you get your license? Or when?
I got my license 4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
Awesome.
4 years ago. So let me just give you an idea of the volume of business that you do, because a lot of our listeners don't know you, right? So you get your license 4 years ago, which is 2016.
Yeah.
In 2017, which arguably was your first full year in the business, you did 10.8 million.
Yeah.
That's why he's on the Rising Star series.
That's
hot. Yeah,
that's for dramatic effect.
Oh.
A lot of agents that are first full year in the business are trying to get a fraction of that, right?
Yeah.
So well done. And then the next year after that, the last year, you did 17.7 million all by yourself, and now you've done 17. Like your own business is 17 million year to date, right?
Yeah.
And we still have another quarter to close out here.
Right.
So what is it like? How'd you do it? What is why are you different than all the other agents that aren't able to hit those numbers?
Man, that's a tough question.
What did you focus on the early?
So when I first came out, I it was one of those things. I think like every other agent, like what do we do, right? We all have this identity we think we need to have, like dress up, suit, tie, look real nice and professional, which there is a need for that.
Jeff, there's a need for that.
And
I heard.
I mean, well, there's.
Jeff doesn't wear a tie.
There's what I mean is there's clients that they want that professional look, which is fine, And then I was that guy that I didn't like anybody else. I didn't have any business. I'm like, man, what do I share on Facebook? I don't have a listing, and I was sharing a lot of my broker's listings. Rick, at that time, he's like, yeah, you could open house mine, and he's been in the business 21 years. And what I had to find was he's older than I am. He's don't kill me. He's like in his 50s. I don't know if much you've been over that, but so I was sharing his listings. These are all $400,000 or $500,000 listings, and I did that for a few months, and I just wasn't gaining traction. I'm like, and then I really like one day it just clicked in my head. I'm like, who do I know? Like, who's my sphere of influence? Realistically, who's going to buy a house? I mean, it's a lot of my friends. And at that time I was 29, I think. I'm 34 now. So I'm like, realistically, these guys are buying their first houses. They're still renting homes and stuff like that. So I changed, okay, well, what homes am I going to put in front of these people? What does it look
Right,
like?
because you're putting stuff that was the
It
second
looks
home or
cool.
third home.
Getting
and-
tons of likes. They're
Right,
like,
yeah.
oh, that's awesome. Look at that beautiful $500,000
Right.
home.
Someday.
Realistically, exactly. Yeah,
No,
bunch of some
what they
days.
think is, man, Blake does all those high-end houses. There's no way he's going to want my business.
Yeah, well, and I think going into it, I'm like, man, it'd be awesome to sell $500,000, $1 million homes all the time. Great. Everybody, you watch $1 million listing. It's so cool, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm just going to show, like I did, I think 60 something sales last year. I think to hit that 17.7, and I did more than some people I know that sell exclusively luxury listings. Some might argue I do more work than, which I probably do have to sell that many transactions, but realistically, that's where my
We're
niche
still
is.
impressed. Don't worry.
Yeah. Which realistic, well, just there's not a whole ton of those homes out, but realistically, my sphere of influence, people that know me, people I hang out with, I just started marketing to their price point and what their situation was. So a lot of them were moving in from my first year in real estate from rentals into their first homes. Now, as my careers kind of started to grow, now I'm marketing to people that own a home, because that's a lot of my friends own homes now at my age group, and selling that first home, cashing out the equity, rolling it into a second home, or buying investment properties. I do active investing. So I've found a lot of people come to me for that, looking at, what do you look for in rentals? And
So just so you're saying your sphere, did you go to high school in Arizona?
I did. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas, but everybody's going to laugh. I actually graduated high school in Maricopa.
Nice.
Okay.
Back in 03, there's 33 kids in my graduating class. Shout out to 03.
Well, the way that we talk about that is that you're in the top 50.
Yeah, exactly. Graduated third out of 30. But no, I think part of it is I'm just a people person. I like people. I like to have fun. I go out, like we were talking about. I take my boat out, and I'm a car guy. I'm just a normal guy, and I think, but I'm really good at. I like business. That's the thing for me that's helped, is I'm just really good at crunching numbers, finding good deals. Like, this is a good deal, fix it up, flip it. Like, I've just got an extreme passion for making money in real estate. And I think people just kind of gravitated towards me.
So were you marketing on social media? Were you doing open houses?
Social media.
Social media? Did you have?
I tried the
I'm
door
guessing
hangers, by the way, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, it's funny. Mine didn't do enough. You did,
Everybody tells me that, and I was so mad. I paid for, I remember when I started in the business, everybody's like, my old broker, sorry, Rick, he's old school. He doesn't do social media. This is another struggle I faced, because he got into the business before it was around, and he had built his business. So he already had his reoccurring business coming in. You go to the guy's Facebook profile right now, I don't think he even has a single house ever posted, which makes me frustrated, because he would just crush me every month and did zero marketing. So it's hard for me as a new agent. But it was one of those things where, what do I do? Like, oh yeah, send out mailers. And I did that. I bought 10,000 mailers, and I got one call from somebody who was mad that the mailer guy stepped on their lawn. I was like, I'm done with that. So I've just found social media to be really good for me personally.
You did 10,000 at one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I paid
Is that the
somebody.
whole town of Queen Creek?
Yeah.
And Maricopa combined.
I hit the 5 biggest neighborhoods out
Yeah.
there. I was like, I'm just sitting by my phone waiting for calls, and it just didn't happen. I was like, this is crazy. So I don't do that anymore.
So let's try something different. So when you say social media, what are you talking about?
Facebook, Instagram. But I share a lot of, I'm really big on just being authentic me. Flat bill hat, Vans. You'll see me in a suit and tie. I will wear them here and there, but I'm a normal guy. I like to go out. I like to just chalk business with people. I like to set up shop and talk to them about that kind of stuff. And so it's worked out. For social, I share the wins and I share the losses, right? I don't share some glamorous life that I live or whatever. I'll go out, I just shared, we had a deal that fell out of escrow 3 times over the last 3 months, and it was only $150,000 house. So you can imagine what our commission was on that. And we stuck through that sucker for everything that could have ever gone wrong with the deal was that.
Right.
House.
So you're recording live videos talking about
it? Yeah,
it?
I shared it from top to bottom. Here's why I fell out of escrow the first time. The second, I'm completely transparent. I don't try to fake real estate and make it sound
Are
like
you
it's
using
easy.
the stories, Facebook stories?
Instagram stories, Facebook stories, posts, and I'm really just consistent with marketing. If anybody wants to follow me, just Blake Clark on Facebook and Blake Sells AZ on Instagram. You guys will see what I'm talking about. I share my team. We have a lot of fun. I make them do a lot of really ridiculous team building activities in my group. So I think it's just easy for people to relate to me. A lot of people meet me in person. And they're like, yeah, you're exactly who we thought you were on social media in person. Same guy. I don't pretend to be anything different. If you like me, cool. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah,
Hold on,
awesome.
hold on. All right. He said they do a lot of ridiculous team building
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah.
So let's hear it. Let's hear it.
One we just recently did that we came up with. I basically got a stack of paper and I put it on the desk, and I had them break up into groups of 3, and they basically had to try to sandwich as many pieces of paper between each other's bodies. So one person would place the paper, and the other 2 people had to get in whatever position and try to get whoever could get the most pieces of paper between their entire body touching. Without having the papers touch each other, and they couldn't use their hands. They couldn't hold it. So like face to face, chest, like everything, get them super close. It's pretty interesting.
And so then, I mean, obviously, that just sounds like it's made for social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Right?
Yeah, we did
Nice.
that.
How much?
How many team members?
We're up to 13 now.
Wow.
13 team members.
Mhm.
So what was the most pieces of paper that 2 people could hold?
38
30 without the paper touching?
without touching.
Yeah.
How big
I'm-
were the pieces of paper?
Regular 8x12.
I thought you were gonna say
30.
how big were the people? Right?
Yeah.
Like 6'4".
No,
6'5".
no, those are girls on my team. Actually, my team's predominantly women, not even by design. So I don't ever recruit on my team. Like I think last week was the first time I ever put a post out said we were actually opening up, just because we do get a lot of leads. But before that, back to the whole point of my team, I never wanted one. So it's always people were reaching out to me like, hey, will you mentor me? And for the longest time, I resisted it until I had one lady who we can talk about a little bit. Was extremely persistent, and that's where the team started, was with her. So,
Awesome.
All right. So you actually talked about before real estate, you were leading teams.
Yeah.
So even though you got into real estate, you weren't interested in it. You had a little bit of a background of it, right? So
Yep.
and you were mentioning like we joked about how agents, they think like this team thing sounds more glamorous than it is, right? Like running a team is
Right.
actually not the same thing as just being a real estate agent and selling houses.
Right.
It's a different skill set. It's a different business, right? So how come it works for you? Like, what are things that you do to run a team for those agents that are out there that are like, I want a team? Why did you even start a team?
I didn't even want to start. So background, I got really busy year 3, 17.7. And to give another background, I run 2 other businesses, online sales outside of real estate, which I was doing before real estate. On top of that, freelance marketing for a couple doctors' offices as I got into real estate. So I'm one of those guys that's kind of
Chucking and jiving.
Yeah.
Who's your inspiration for that?
Growing up super poor, just honestly. I
Yeah.
grew up really, really, really
Yeah, but
poor.
are you like a Gary Vee fan or anything like that?
Andy Frisella.
And Andrew first.
Andy Frisella with First Form, MFCEO.
Nice.
Look at probably best.
MF CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the guy I
I'm
listen to
sorry,
the podcast
MF.
with.
Yeah, that's not safe for work.
Mother.
Okay.
So I got really busy. Great, making a crap ton of money and everything, but just the time wasn't there. It was just 24/7, go. Didn't have a transaction coordinator, had nothing. Like, it was just me and my wife, and I just basically, she sat down one day and was like, this kind of sucks, making a crap ton of money, but you're never here for the kids, never here for the family. And so I said, yep, that's just what happens when you get busy like this. It is, always my personality. Both my daughters.
She loved that answer. didn't she?
Yeah, I have 3 kids. Well, her and I, she got with me when I didn't make a whole lot of money. I was like in a bad spot in life, and she supported me through that. So she stuck with me regardless. So it was just one of those things that she's seen me transition into getting busier and busier. But it got to the
Makes
point.
you easier like when you bring a lot of cash home, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So so with that being said, both of our daughters do competitive cheer. I have 3 kids total, a son and 2 daughters. My oldest and my youngest do competitive cheer. So I sent my
All right,
wife.
tell us how old they are. We got to talk about the kids.
Gotta talk about the kids. So my
Yeah.
daughter's 11, son's 10, and my youngest is 5.
11, 10, 5.
Yeah.
And 5
Nice.
and 5 and 11 do competitive cheer.
Wow.
Nice.
Traveling.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You mean like outside of the valley?
Yeah. We go to Vegas, California. We went to Florida World Finals year before.
For the 5-year-old or the 11-year-old?
11-year-old,
Okay.
5-year-old.
My daughter was
5-year-old by default goes though, because her team competes when
That was the
they're the cute ones. The 5-year-olds out there doing their
Actually,
thing.
my daughter went to Florida 2 years ago too. They might have been there together. She cheered for a high school team, but
Probably, yeah.
'Cause they went to Florida
Disney,
for, like, the national-
at Disney World,
yeah,
dude, that was a lot of estrogen in one building.
yes.
I kind of told myself I wouldn't do that
Opposite
again.
of this podcast.
Yeah. So, So I sent my wife to real estate school. I was like, you know what? You go to school, get your license. That way, if I'm out showing whatever, you can just help out, like just be an extra set of hands
Sure.
with this.
No doubt.
She pulled the old switcheroo. She met a lady named Talene, who is now my team lead. Talene's daughter's cheer.
Hold a second. You're not the team lead?
I structure my team very differently. You guys will hear how I run this and how it is, and it's just probably.
I'm excited. This is going to be good.
So Talene and his daughter cheered on the same team as my wife's. Apparently, they didn't really know each other. I don't even know how it's possible.
How's that possible?
I don't know, but they did. But they recognized each other in real estate school. They're like, "Hey, we know each other from the cheer gym, whatever." And then Talene,
You're like, we're there all the time together, like
right, right. Like so. Talene just got a real estate license and, was like, yeah, I'm looking to get started. My wife's like, oh, it's perfect. My husband needs somebody to help him. So tried to swap her out. Even though I sent my wife to get her license, she's like, I'm going to just send this lady to go help.
She's
them
smart.
out.
You're right.
Yeah,
Smart.
very smart.
So I said, absolutely not. I'm not helping anybody. I'm just like, I want to be on my own. I'm done working. I ran teams in corporate America before. I was like, I just like doing my own thing, like being self-employed. I don't want to be responsible for anybody else's success in this business because I knew it was just hard, And Talene followed up, and I said, nope, absolutely not. And then finally, like we had a cheer event at my house. Talene came because her daughter was there. And she just came and sat in my office and was like, listen, I want you to mentor me and coach me. And I was like, oh, man, all right, we'll give this a shot. Turned out amazing. Like, she's a hardworking lady. Like, she's killing it. I think she did like $4 million her first year out or something.
Nice.
She's on track to do 8 this year. So, I brought her on. Did really good. She handled a lot of the buyers. I was doing a lot of the listings, and then it turned into another person reached out. I think it was a lady. She's not with my team anymore. Her name is Kaylin, and then her friend Caitlin Collifer, who's with me now. She was my third team, and it's just grown. It's just everybody shoots me a DM, and so with our team, my philosophy was it's very different. I know some people start teams to kind of just grow out from a financial standpoint. Mine was more. There's never anything I'm ever going to put on a piece of paper or send you in a DM that's going to help you be successful in this business. Part of it, in my opinion, is personality. Like if you don't like people and you're not good at business, you're probably not going to be good at real estate, as you guys know. That's just my philosophy on it. I'll never send you a DM or people ask me, hey, what do you do that's successful? Here you go. This is all I do. Go be successful. You have to role model and just watch what I do and watch the kind of person that I am. See my day-to-day habits in my interactions with people and how I handle things, and then put your own twist on it, and you'll probably be successful. So it was more of a mentorship program is what it was. It wasn't even a team. It was like, hey, just come follow what I do. When anybody wants to join our team now, I'm a big believer. I don't make that final say. Somebody messages me. If I think for sure they're not going to be a good fit, I'll just tell them no, or I won't respond. If I think there's potential, I bring them in.
After you stalk them online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you come to me and you're like, I want to join your team, like, why? Especially if you've been an agent for 3 years, you haven't seen success. There's something going on there. Is it a personal habit? Is it a lack of skills, training? Who knows what it is,
Could be many things.
Could be 100%.
Could be many things.
So now when people come in, I don't vote. My team votes them in. I put people in a chair in the middle of my entire team, and they round table, and my team grills them one by one, asks them questions, and they get to ask my team questions. And when they leave, my team votes on it. I have no say. So my team votes people in on our team. If they're not a good fit for our culture, then they don't belong there.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's fun. It's a little like Survivor-esque.
Reverse Survivor.
We
decided you come on the island.
Yeah. It's just one of those. I've just ran.
And so when you called your first hire your team lead.
Yeah.
You said that your team was set up differently. Talk about that. Well, how do you have a team lead?
So like with each one of my teams, they run it as their own business, basically.
Wait a minute. You've got multiple teams of the 13?
No, like with my team, but what I mean by with my team and like my past teams when I've ran them, what I found the most success in is I never really run it as like you're with me. Like I let my team, they brand themselves. They have to use my logo, but I'm all for these guys using their own branding. The end goal for me is to get them successful enough to where they can leave at any time, but they stay because they see value in what I do and my culture and who I am. Because I think what I've seen in my failing, not just in real estate, in any business or any form of entrepreneurship, is that people fail because of lack of motivation or self-direction, or they have those hard days. And a lot of people, there's either going to be people have just get back up and hit it every day, and there's going to be people that need that direction. Not everybody's a leader. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So in real estate,
so
you're self-employed. I mean, that's the reality of it.
So
that's an underappreciated thing.
I agree, but you set your team up to help with that then, right? So when you say you called her the team lead, is that just a motivation factor? Is that because
they all have their own tasks. So like, for example, we just started using, like, we do paid traffic, we do some CRM, but I don't take any paid traffic. My business is 100% referral based, and eventually that's the goal to get them on theirs. But she runs a lot of like the lead based training, CRM management if they need it and stuff like that. But that's ultimately how we run it. I don't take crazy splits on the.
So who pays for the leads?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're about
and we split those. Yeah.
Zillow, paper. No, you said you said paid traffic.
Zillow's garbage, by the way.
Okay. There you go.
Just throwing that out.
We're gonna be at Zillow Unlocked next week. We'll let him know that you think they're garbage.
We did Zillow. We've done Zillow in the past. We just got.
Okay, so then you're doing Facebook. You're doing
Facebook,
Google,
Instagram, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, a lot of what we do now. So a lot of where I coach my team at is building their brand on social media, because all my business honestly comes a lot from social media. I probably get 3 to 4 DMs a week, and that's where a lot of my business comes from, and past clients now.
So, and you come into it. One of the things that perked my ears up is that you actually have a side business. One of your other businesses is that you do marketing for doctors' offices.
Yeah.
I assume that you've taken some of those skill sets and applied them to your own business.
I have.
So when you talk about your team and educating them, are you like sitting down doing seminars for your team members on how you run your ads so that they can basically mimic that?
So we do training twice a week. I meet with my team. Matter of fact, tonight we get a meeting at 5:30. So we meet every Monday and we meet every Thursday, and we go over skills training. So
at 5:30 at night.
That's when they're free. A couple of them are like, we're all busy. We all do stuff during the day. So we go from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at night. That's when I meet with them.
Okay.
Wow.
And so you do skills where you pull up your ads account or your ad.
We do anything from critical thinking, skill set, like conversions, to social media. Like we just hired, her name's Michelle Berman with Berman Social Media. Highly recommend anybody to look into her. She's awesome. She has a full structured course on, ultimately what I'm trying to teach these guys to get away from is paid traffic. I'm a firm believer, and you guys have probably know, you've been in this business long enough, that if you build your brand up big enough, you don't need paid traffic. Like I'm 100% referral based now, and I average 5 to 6 deals a month off referrals. I don't pay for that. My team, we do paid traffic for a lot of our newer members.
But you pay for events for the people that you get business with.
We do pay for those.
Right? Like,
yeah. We pay for those.
There's still marketing. It's just, it's
repeat business.
As we interview more agents, it's funny how we all kind of talk about the thing with we use different definitions of phrases, right? Yeah. Where we have some people that have been in the business for a long time that do a ton of business, and they say, well, I've never spent $1 on marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how you define marketing might just be different than how we define marketing.
100%.
Because communicating with our past clients, technically, is that marketing? Well, yeah. Absolutely.
It's remarketing is what it's called.
Yeah, remarketing. But even like your shirt, technically, that's marketing, right? When you're wearing branded apparel. So when we talk about marketing or paid things, I just want to make sure that we're using the definitions as well so our audience can follow.
Marketing is, in my opinion, is any form of staying in front of somebody, whether that's a past client, current client, potential client, doesn't matter, just staying in front of
You don't buy traffic.
We do now. Yeah. So for my new agents, we do buy traffic. We do paid per click, because a lot of these guys don't have any business when they start, like anybody, right? Well, a lot of these guys don't have a sphere of influence. Like I don't even know how to say this to where it doesn't sound bad, but some people just have a huge group of friends, they're very well connected, know a lot of people. And there's other people that are just introverts, right? That stay inside all day,
it's just
have
normal.
5 or 6 friends, and they try to get into real estate and sell houses. Well, when you start into real estate, then your market's this big. So for those kind of people, they're going to need some paid traffic. Prime example, I have a lady on my team, Caitlin Dellis, who just moved out here from New York. No friends out here, right? Like she knows nobody. She was with another team. I'm not going to name that team, but she was with that team for 6 months and did 0 deals with these people. And she called me one day, and it was like October of last year, right when I was kind of going into HomeSmart. She's like, "Listen, I've been doing real estate. I can't gain traction. I'm doing open houses. Everything she told me pointed to success, but I'm like, there's just something wrong, So I brought her in. We interviewed. We liked her personality. She
won the vote.
She's killing it right now, killing it. And the sole reason she didn't do well is because she just didn't have encouragement. Her previous team she was on had 50 members. She's like, every time I call,
she's on the CBOC team.
I'm not going to tell you. And I don't mean it in a bad way. That the team size
was she on our team?
No. Okay. No, she wasn't on our team. But the point was that she couldn't get any help, encouragement, coaching, and then now I basically it's just that encouragement. Like, hey, you're doing good. It's an affirmation, and that's the only thing she's changed. She's doing everything the same, and she is killing it now. Like she's doing, she's already done 9 deals this year. already, like first year in real estate, and she's got 3 in escrow right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's exciting.
Nice.
Well,
All right, so-
congratulations for giving her the inspiration, because that's really confidence and inspiration is a lot to building a team.
So when you were talking to her about coming aboard, did you ask her which animal she was?
We started that after her.
After her.
Yeah.
All right. But tell us, because pre-show you were talking about the animal
Yep.
test.
Yeah.
Or question, I guess.
This actually stemmed from, I did a training for some of my other businesses. I sell product online, but we dived into just building out organizations and kind of reflected on how I hire people. And so the way we ask people now sounds crazy, but the way we ask people when they come on their team is if they're a lion, a monkey, an owl, or a puppy. And that's it. And you should see the looks people give us. What are you talking about? Like, why are you asking us these questions? But if you're thinking in your head right now of each one of those animals, they all have a different personality, right? Like the lion's the go-getter, just wakes up to go out and kill and get results, and that's it. He can't really be bothered with anything other than the end result. Then you have the monkey, who's the person who you guys probably think of in your organization, who's always a jokester, always having fun. Like, they get results, but ultimately they're the party. Like, they're the people where if you want somebody there to have a light mood, like that's the person that's there, right? And then you have the owl, who's the extremely analytical one. That's the person in your organization that basically, they're the ones that second guess everything. They're the ones that, hey, go out and do this. Well, what if this goes? What if? Stop, just go do, but that's those people. And then you have the puppy, who doesn't really matter. They'll do whatever they can do. They just like to see everybody happy. They're kind of, I don't want to say yes men, but they're more of, they'll go any direction. They don't really draw a line in the sand per se.
Is there anyone that's not any of those 4?
I don't think so. I think there's always a form of
good
it.
deal.
Honestly, I think you could be a little bit of 2. Like, I'm more of a lion monkey. I like to mess around a lot, but I'm definitely that guy that has a long-term vision. Like, I know what I want. I'm very results driven. I don't really care about the analytical and the numbers. I'm horrible at paperwork. I'm horrible at that stuff. So I started looking at how I hire people on our team and how they all play. Because again, I wouldn't want to work with a group full of people like me, because we'd be very numbers driven, but we would be horrible at the fine details, the pay, all that. Awful. My assistant, on the other hand, Elena, she rocks my world. She runs everything for me.
Shout out.
She's phenomenal at she hates going out and meeting people. She's just she's not a social.
Does she control putting out the team agreement? Do you have a team
Everything.
agreement?
Yep. She does team agreement. She helps with contracts. She helps with collecting documents. She pays attention to every little number, every little dollar that goes out in marketing. She'll call me like, "Hey, you spent this." Yeah, I did. You bought a soda on the business. Yeah, I did. Like, she pays attention to those for me, which is great because I'm not that guy. But that's because we work so well together. She needs my personality because she doesn't like to go out and network and meet people, but I need her because I don't like to do the fine details type paperwork. And so we start looking at our team of how do we need people. And then on top of that, it helps us understand how to work with people better, because I've learned to be more patient with somebody like her. I hate details. So you guys can probably think of people right now who, if you're not a details person and they're super analytical and they second guess everything, your mind goes to, why are you even worried about this? Like, just go do it. You know what I mean? In their mind,
Name names.
yeah. And in their mind, in their mind, they're the same way with you, right? They're like, how do you go out and just do all this so haphazardly without paying attention? You know what I mean? So basically so once you identify that, I think it's easier to work with these people and really see their skill sets.
Is there an animal that you prefer to have the new agents be when they join?
No.
Or you look for all different animals?
Honestly, look for all of
in
them.
your zoo.
I honestly look for all of them.
Do lions join teams?
They do. Some do. Not a lot. That's a good question, actually. It is. Some do. I think when they're newer, but I think they're always also going to be those people that are never stay completely on a team, right? They
I just look at you and I'm like, I don't see Blake joining a team.
I wasn't on a team.
Exactly.
I didn't even start on a team.
And also look at, you're self-proclaimed lineman, right? So
right.
When he says, "Is everybody on the team?" But you also described yourself as a combination of 2 of the animals, which actually makes them more than just 4, right? And so you can have partial lions be on teams,
right?
Yeah, interesting. No, it's a different way to talk about something that's discussed a ton in our industry.
Right.
A lot of people revert to the DISC test because in a sense it's the same conversation. It's just 4 letters
100%.
instead of 4 animals.
No, that's 4 letters.
Yeah. People are like, oh, you're a
DS.
You're a DS.
Right.
You're a whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, same concept though.
Yeah.
I like the animals just because it's more relatable.
It is.
Where you don't have to explain to somebody what a D is.
I'm a
Right.
high eye.
Yeah.
It's one of the, I don't know, it's just received better with people. Like, it's funny because they'll come into our team and we'll ask them that, and they're like, the look is always the same. They're like, why are you asking me this? And then you break it down and they're like, oh, okay. And it just
Yeah.
helps you self-reflect. Like, for me, like, I look at that as a good thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm a go-getter. I like to go out and hustle, but it really makes me look at my weaknesses. Like, I'm not a details person. I'm horrible at that stuff. And I, for the longest time, didn't pay attention to that side of me. And
Your
it
broker loves that, by the way. Your
Yeah.
broker loves you not paying attention.
Yeah,
Like,
my yeah,
Mhm.
I paid a lot of late transaction fees.
which is actually a common
You
thing
would
for
know.
a lion.
I was flat fee, but it really came out to like 10.
Owls, very few late fees.
Oh my gosh, man!
No.
Like, that's why my transaction coordinator has a job today, is because of that, honestly. But
So you could reduce your costs.
100%, I was paying the same either way, and I'm like, listen, I'm either going to pay a late fee and have to do the work, or I could just pay her and not have to do the work. So let's just pay her not.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
All right, so there's a couple other notes I had, and one of them you talked about how now you are doing listings.
Yep.
Right, so you let your team take care of all the buyers,
For the most part,
Do
unless
you-
it's a
do you-
personal friend. Yeah.
unless it's what?
Unless it's like a personal friend or referral, I always
Of
handle
theirs?
of mine, my own
Oh, of
business.
yours.
Yeah,
Okay.
I let them run their own listings. I let them run their own buy. It's their
Do you let
business.
them run any of your listings?
I let them co-list with me, and they could come to my listings. I always encourage all the new people to come tag along on a listing appointment with me, see how I do it.
Do you ever have more than one person tag along on a listing?
Yeah, we've done up to 4.
Oh, how's that
Did
going?
you win?
For
I did.
friends?
I got it. Yeah.
For friends?
No.
Oh, just an internet.
Heck yeah.
A paid lead.
Heck
Yeah.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
The stats are the more that go, the less likely you are to win. 2
Yeah.
is fine.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But Blake, you know what? You got it done. You got it
Well,
done.
Because
Well,
here's
all
the
right, what
thing,
was the
right? It's
price
all
range?
well. Here's the thing. It's all in how you pitch it, right? Like, we've gone into these listings where I always I'll have Tolene with me, like my team lead. Hey, this is my team lead. By the way, I have 2 younger members that had joined with our team, and they're kind of coming along. And I always pitch it as they have potential buyers that were potentially interested. So I wanted to bring them along and see if we can sell your house before it even goes on the market, which is true. We've had buyers. If I have somebody on my team that's working with somebody like that, and I have a listing coming up and they're newer, I'll bring them along just to pre-screen it. We sold 3 houses this year that way. We'll even hit the market.
Yeah.
Well, thank
So
God
if you
it's a hot
just
market.
roll up with 4 people, like an entourage, right? Like, you guys all get out of the car, like, yeah, it looks weird, but
Synchronous it.
Yeah.
Open the doors together. You close the doors.
it
together.
helps.
Yeah.
I have,
Well,
to be fair, I have a lot of women on my team. So they're very like they don't look, intimidating when they come out. Like, there's
Right.
me, and then they're all like soft. If anything, they help my image.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that you were talking about with listings is that you were getting beat.
Yeah.
And then you came out with a menu.
Yep.
And now you're not getting beat as much.
Nope.
What's the menu?
The menu, whatever anybody wants to call it, but the biggest thing, right? You started, as we've seen in the industry, it's always adapting, it's always changing, as with any market you go into. But the biggest thing today is like the iBuyer market. You got the Zillows, you got the OfferPads, you got the Open Doors, you got the wholesalers, you got so many different people looking to basically get a piece of that pie in a business. And for me, the hardest part was when I started out in the industry, it just made no sense. I was like, why the heck would anybody ever sell their house off market at a discounted rate, whatever, but then as experience gets the best of me, I'm starting to see things, my second year in the business. There's people that are going through divorce that just don't want to even, it's just so bad. They don't even want to deal with showings. You know what I mean? It's like, we just want this.
So what percentage of what do you think is going to be the highest number of, there's a guy that does a podcast. He's an attorney for the industry.
Mhm.
And he threw out an outrageous number. I won't even give you that number because I don't even think that's possible. But like now it's probably in the 5 to 7 range, maybe
Percent? Is there
percent of
that are-
transactions. Do you think, or any speculation, or think if it's going to go above 10, 15, 20%, or do you think it's going to?
I think it's going to go in a wave, to be honest with you. What I've seen, this is just my personal opinion, so take it for what it's worth, but I think that the wholesaler and iBuyer market's going to cannibalize themselves personally, because I've even seen it right now where they're all getting so it's getting so competitive with each other that I'm just over here providing service to my clients. And like, I've won tons of listings where people will go in and offer cash, and some of them are pretty good listings, but people still care about that education and knowledge aspect and top dollar. Honestly, there's still people out there that want that. And I think that people are going to get so tired of it, right? Like, people are catching on. Like, we go into like the OfferPads, and I mean, how many, you guys know how that, that scenario goes where they offer
You're
a
giving us
price.
a lot of credit.
Yeah, well, they offer, I'm talking about from the general consumer, like it used to be like, oh yeah, OfferPads offer me, I'll throw a number 250K out, but their true net on something like that is like 210 after they deduct their, 6 or 7% fee and then risk fee, and they're still charging 6% commission fee, so the true net at the bottom number, I think sellers are getting more educated now. They're just kind of like, well, wait a minute, at the closing table, I'm really not getting that much, and I think that, I will say I'll give Zillow credit on this because I've done a couple deals with Zillow on like a buy side where I like their business model where it's more of here's the number, here's the base number. Matter of fact, we'll even come out and do an inspection on your property before we even put it in pen and paper just to not waste anybody's time. I like that. I've sold a few homes.
Signed an ER with them before Zillow comes out.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that if I may weigh on your comments, that when Open Door and OfferPad and Zillow were competing without the agent being involved.
Yeah.
It was just an offer and they were netting and it was simple and easy.
Yeah.
But now as you're offering it and I'm offering it and Kenny Kloss is offering it and everybody's offering it, now the agent's involved.
Yep.
Now the clients get to see all of the options.
Yeah. It's all about giving people
because
options.
Before they were only getting just the competitor between Zillow.
It's either on market or iBuyer, like these two here.
It's either realtor or iBuyer.
Yeah.
And now a realtor can be
all of them. Yeah.
Right.
Which is what I've gone into to answer your question. Now we have cash investors lined up. So we just wholesale the deal today. I just locked one up with another friend of mine who seller came on, a past client, they've had a home family member that they wanted to sell. It's just, they've had it for a long time, a lot of equity renters, and it didn't want to deal with it, just want it gone. So I passed that on to, somebody's going to basically flip it.
Yeah. So when you have that conversation with your client, your past client, you basically say, all right, look, here's what I think the house is worth.
Yep.
What number do you need what number do you need in order to walk away?
Yeah, we have certain numbers we try to hit. I mean, obviously, what I've found has worked best for me is just be completely honest and transparent, because at the end of the day, like, I want to lay my head down at night and know I did the right thing and not feel like I'm ripping people off. And so, like, we put it out and we'll do a full net sheet on market minus, the 5-6% commission, whatever it is. Realistically, this is going to be your price. You know what I mean? We could do an as is cash price, or, if you fix the home up, get it in really good shape, top dollar, here's the price, and just lay it out for them and see what makes the most sense. This way is going to probably take, 30 to 60 days to sell, depending on the market. Cash, we can close in 2 weeks. You leave the house as is, so you're paying for the convenience on that standpoint. And a lot of time in those situations, it's, family member passed away or some kid inherited the property. They don't care at that point. It's all bang for them, and they really don't want to deal with the pain of going through and cleaning a house out. So they'll take cash. Where before, non-experienced agent me would go in like, oh, do all this work and sell it and clean it, and then they just go sell it off. I'm like, why would they do that, man? They just lost 40 grand. Well, then you have to really think about things. And so when I started offering, I was like, well, if they want to do that and people want to do this, then let me offer them options. And then it started working out really well for me. But again, it's all about, I've had people where we offer cash. No, I'll still go the listing route. I'm good. I got time, and netting the most money is that's what's most important.
Well, that was my thing. I've been on quite a few listing appointments, and the majority of them, the seller always wants top dollar. That's why I was like,
that's the average American.
That don't want 10% more than it's really worth.
Yeah, that's the average family.
The seller wants top dollar. Yeah. I just want it with the cash 2-week close.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Then that's.
Oh, they're not the same.
No, that's the real estate agent. But,
it's just about being creative, and I think that it's a skill set. Like, I think again, it goes back to, in this business, you just have to have that business savvy, but have a compassionate. You have to have compassion for people. Like, when I walk in, I listen to their situation. Like, what's most important to you before I'll even start throwing options out. What is most important to you? If I can tell it's a painful situation, then I might throw the cash out. If it's a deal right off the bat, listen, we got to get as much money as possible. We're selling this to move, relocate. Then I may not even throw that out there if I know that's not even going to be an option for those people. So you just got to know what's important to the seller and offer them that. So
sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So one other funny story, which I'm not going to name any names, but before you were an agent, you bought a house.
I did.
And
I already know where this is going.
You already know? What do you mean you know where this is going? So, and then that agent did what every agent in America does, and they just stayed in touch with you, and they kept calling you to check on you to see how you were doing?
That's exactly what did not happen.
The opposite of that.
Yeah.
They ghosted you.
Ghosted me.
Dang it. So you buy a house, and then how many, they ghosted you immediately? After that, there was no communication.
For the most part, yeah.
You were loved and then you were lost.
That's it.
All
Yep.
right. And so then how long until you had your next transaction, or until you communicated with that agent?
A year and a half later, sold our second house.
Year and a half
'Cause
later,
he-
you sold. Hold on, a year and a half later, because you had more than one house.
We did, yeah.
So you sold a house
Yeah.
a year and a half later without that same agent.
Correct.
And he called you out on it.
Yep.
He called you and was like, "What
Yep.
up, bro?"
Yeah, yeah. How come you didn't send the business back to me? And just
Yeah.
honest, didn't follow up. Somebody else stayed in front of me. Another friend of mine that had a license and felt like he deserved the business more.
He gave it to him.
This was before I was a licensed, by the way.
Yeah, of course. No, agreed.
Yeah.
That's why I set it up
People
that
are like,
way.
"Why aren't you selling your own house?"
No, because
Yeah.
look, we started talking about marketing, and I should have brought this question up then. But what I appreciate about what you're doing is that you are early enough in the business that you're already paying attention to your database.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people, I mean, we
That's
sat
not
across
what
the
we hear.
table from-
No, it's the opposite of what we hear.
we have sat across
Yeah.
the table from 75-year-olds
Yeah.
where they're like, I've been in the business for 30 years and I just don't have any business. We're like, oh, what do you use for a database? I don't. Right.
Excel.
So for you, what'd you say?
Microsoft Excel.
No,
Yeah.
Actually,
No,
boxes.
it's right
here.
No,
Files.
no, they're in their phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
First
So
name
for
only.
you, like, did that come from your original mentor? Where, like, what grade? How did you get that?
That came from that experience, as crazy as that sounds, because that really stuck with me. Because I said, okay, as I got into the business, I was like, okay, I don't ever want to lose anybody, and it's going to happen. I mean, the reality is there's going to be,
It's gonna happen.
it's going to happen. There's going to be people you sell a house to that eventually their sister gets a license they're going to go with. That's fine. But as long as I can do the best I can to stay in front of people, which again is where social media comes into play. Any of our past clients, we keep them on Facebook. You know, we like to know what's going on in their life. Like every one of my team members, I make them, if you do a deal with somebody, get them on social media, stay in front of them, you know, like take an active interest in their life. And we invest a lot of money into client appreciation parties. Every quarter we try to throw something. We invite everybody over, just have a good time with them. For Christmas, this is the crazy part. I do nothing bun cakes.
Yeah.
140, I think I had last year. I did deliver out to clients. So you can imagine doing a route of 140 people. I
Oh,
sold
we've
houses.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do.
That's
pies.
crazy. This year I got to do something different because I couldn't get done. But
No, well, you start to pay a lot more attention to traffic patterns.
100%.
When
You're on like
gotta
Google
deliver
Maps trying to route it
Yeah.
out.
My problem was when I would take my client a pie.
Yeah.
And it was December 15th, and it was
Yeah.
4:30.
Good luck.
Yep.
Yeah, I was taking the Uber home.
Well, and it's just.
Oh, no, they wanted to
Yeah.
feed me booze, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I got more. I gotta be
Well,
safe
and it's
here.
just one of those things. Like I look at, I don't know, I just like building relationships with people. Like for me, it's fun. I like people,
It was fun.
and I like seeing people. I like meeting. So like for me, when we sell a house to somebody, I'm the first to admit I've had difficult clients that I don't keep in touch with anymore by design. But in
Or
most,
ask for a review from.
right, yeah. But in retrospect, I really like my clients. I take to give you guys an example, every house I go to buy with that client, I have that conversation with them. Just so you guys know, 2 to 3 years, if you were to come to me and sell this could be a potential issue when we go to resell your house. That's already in my head when I'm helping these guys buy a house, is how can I maximize profits for you when you come to help me sell this house right now.
Yeah.
So that's how far ahead I think with my clients, that once I do a deal, like they're friends of mine. And it's cool now because like I live in Queen Creek and a lot of my sales are in Queen Creek. I just went to the Queen Creek block party. They had one this weekend. Ran into like 5 of my past clients, like walking down the street. We're all talking to each other. That's the stuff I like. And those are the people that continue to send me business and help my business grow. So I don't look at it as a one transaction type deal.
Do you segment your database or do anything special for if they send you a piece of business, or is there anything that you do as
I
far
call them right away, tell them thank you. Like immediately, as soon as I get a referral, like somebody will call me, I'll call that person, tell them thank you. You know, we might take them out to dinner or something like that as a thank you. You know, again, it's just one of those things where you just treat people right. I think, and it sounds so cliche, I can't say it any better, but if you're nice to people and you just treat them right and they feel like you did a genuinely good job, and the biggest thing is they feel like it's never about me, right? Like that last transaction, we probably lost a lot of money on that deal. 150K sale, 3 transactions, the money we put into marketing and all that didn't matter. We stuck that out to the end to get that deal done for our seller because it was just the right thing to do, you know, where I think a lot of people probably would have bailed on something like that. So
you got 2
Kinda
cell
makes a good
phones?
story.
Can we ask him why he's got 2 cell phones?
Sure.
Why do you get 2
2
cell
phones.
phones?
I run a lot of businesses. No, one's for one business and one's for real estate. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is the online product that you sell? Just because of the question I caught out there.
it always changes, to be honest with you. Whatever hot trending item, like
So you sell goo?
nope, didn't sell goo, like fidget spinners. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We sell anything from air fresheners to auto parts, Just it's even
So
that.
you have an online store?
Yeah, I got 5.
5 online stores.
Yeah.
And he's a marketer. He's an internet marketer, John.
Yeah, so you're
spent a
generating
lot of
that
money on
traffic
Facebook.
through
Right.
SEO, or are you doing
No, he just
PPC?
said
PP.
we spend a lot
PPC.
of money on Facebook. He said.
Oh,
I have a mentor that coaches me on online, and he spends about $30,000 a day in Facebook ads, and like just plays at such a high level. But I love to surround myself with people like that, because like when you think you're doing good, throw yourself around people. Like I'm a huge believer in surrounding yourself with people that are you're just, at the end of the day, you're just a product of your environment. Like I can't put it any better than that. You know, I myself, I do well, but I purposely put myself around people that do better than me, because ultimately they're going to elevate me. So same thing with real estate, people that do much better than me, I like to be around those guys.
so is there anyone particular in real estate that you hang out with a lot?
Oh man, that's a tough question. My old broker Rick was a big one I looked up to. My buddy Templeton, if you guys don't follow him, I'll give him a little plug. He's just funny guy, but he's just really good. Like he's one of those guys he just put a freaking video up today. The other night he went out and bought like an 86 Cadillac off some old guy on the side of the road just because, and he's wearing a gold chain this week and driving it around, and made a music video of himself, and that's how he gets his real estate business. And he runs a very successful I can't like
And now I'm going to look him up.
I can't even explain to you guys.
Yeah.
Just look him up. He's the one that helped me with my team too, and he's just one of those, like it's all about I appreciate authentic agents, right? Like if you're on Instagram and you're wearing the suit and tie, and I could just tell you're not being authentic, trust me, your clients can see that too. If you know who you hang out with, you should match that. That's who's going to say.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see, because the last guest we had, she was very good on Instagram, and she had a strategy. Do you have an Instagram strategy?
No, just be myself. Share pictures of me yelling at my kids and embarrassing them at school.
Are you more about the tiles, or are you more about the story?
Ooh, this is a really good question. I got my butt handed to me by Michelle Berman, actually, on social media strategy. It's got to look good, but even me, I'll drag my feet in the ground, because I just want people to see the authentic me, right? Like I'm just.
No,
like,
I originally came out too authentic because it's boring.
I will tell you guys will never see me throw, like I'm really I won't throw a political post. I don't even get into any of that stuff. Like I don't even watch the news anymore. I'm really big against that kind of stuff, just because I don't know. Again, just the mindset thing.
I don't watch the news either.
Yeah, I don't. It was like 4 years ago when the presidential elections were on, and I was like on Facebook. I'm like, oh, negative. Just everybody just
Makes
turning
you
against it.
depressed.
Yeah. And so I literally had this day where I like snapped. I went through social media. I unfollowed every news station. I haven't watched TV. You guys could ask my wife and anybody in 4 years. I haven't watched TV at all. Like,
You don't watch sports?
I'm not a sports guy. I am a guy that is.
I saw you behind a boat earlier.
That's it, boat. But that's
okay.
me. Like I go out and surf on my boat, and I take my razor out with my friends, and we ride out in the middle of the desert, and that's it.
They have that on TV.
Razor right? Why would I don't want to watch it on TV when I can do it myself.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'm just busting.
I
But
like it.
yeah.
All right. So where's Blake Clark 3 years from now?
Same thing. Still selling real estate. I don't have any goal to ever work myself out of the business. Even with my team, like I'm still very active, and I just enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Like it's
Same size team, same number of transactions.
no, because that's
Where is it at?
I don't know. I don't like putting labels on it like that. Like I set goals. Like our goal next year as a team, we're going for 200 transactions is what we're shooting for. There's an agent out in my market that I'm not going to name, but I'm going to basically crush him. So
Awesome.
Do you think he's watching?
I'm only laughing because you want to name, which I like. How many transactions are you going to do this year?
this year we'll probably finish out with about 140. I think we got.
Okay,
14.
so 200 is doable.
Let's do it. We got a plan. Like we're already planning. I've already meeting with my team tonight. We have a strategy in place, and my goal is just to beat him. That's it.
So
Yeah.
what percentage of
Isn't it
those?
interesting though how much agents ahead of you can fuel you,
Yeah,
right? Like find the fire once you're there.
I think he doesn't provide as good customer service, and it bothers me. That's the only reason why.
Oh,
Fair
we
enough.
gotta
Because
talk
I've
about
been
that.
on the other side of a transaction with this gentleman, and 3 times this year, and every one.
Well,
of
now
them-
he's findable.
every one of them have been nightmares. And I basically just said, if this guy can do that well with this kind of service, then I know I can do better. And that's what we're doing.
So, all right. So then let's talk about service a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm-
customer service.
I mean, this is a So what it was is, I don't know if did you ever follow any of the history on the
No,
solution?
he
of
talked
real
about
estate?
he listened to 2
yeah.
episodes
Who did you listen to?
last week.
Shannon.
And I don't know who else.
Yeah.
Shannon.
All right. So originally our path was out to change the industry
Yep.
because we found that most people didn't provide great client service, right? Where we learned that most people put a lot of attention into improving the well, you're not a sports guy, but have you ever been to a baseball game?
I have.
Okay,
yeah.
good deal. All right. But the way I describe it is that, there's two types of service going on at the baseball game. One is the ketchup, mustard, and
Concession
relish
stands.
that are running around. They serve beer. They
Yep.
got music playing in between innings. And when people come out, they play different songs and everybody's
Yep.
got a different thing.
Yeah.
But then there's the quality of the baseball player
100%.
and the team, right? So
100%.
this year, right, if you go see the Astros playing the Yankees and you see
You don't care if they sell.
Altuve,
You're there for baseball.
Yeah.
you got a 5'6" guy hitting a game-winning Game 6 home run to put him into the World Series.
Right.
Like, you don't need to serve anything to watch that guy play baseball. I mean, I listened to him afterwards. I mean, it was like brought tears to my eyes. Like,
Right.
that guy was awesome. Right?
Right.
So, what do you mean by service in the?
Well, I think I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this, so sorry right now. But I think that the barrier to entry into this business is just too low. And I think that it allows too many people in here that probably don't belong. And I mean that with no disrespect. But what I mean
There's
by that,
50,000 and we only do 100,000 transactions. We agree. Go on.
you got it. So, like, I think the problem is that I look at it, and I think a lot of the other top agents that do well and actually care for their clients look at it. It's a customer service business. What I say by customer service, you're here to serve your client, to help them solve a problem. Whether that means it could be a simple problem, right? I just need to sell my home and get into a new home, or I need to sell my home and relocate to another state. They're relying on you for your experience to help with that. Or maybe they're in a bad situation. A spouse passed away and the wife can no longer afford the house. How can I best get her out of this situation to recapture some money? Every situation is so different. And that's how we look at, like, my team. We're really big on it's very situational, where I think some people get into, oh, it's great, it's a career, it's money. And they're very extremely commission based. Like, all I care about is my commission. I don't care about the client. I don't follow up with the client. They don't build the relationships. And that's where I think it's wrong. That to me, in my opinion, it just sounds simple. It's just putting the client's needs first. And I don't think we have enough of that in this business, to be honest with you. And I don't say that just because it's me. I say that because I'm on the other end of transactions. So I see, you can tell right away when you have an agent and you call them up and you're like, hey, you're trying to put a deal together, right? Like, we have a buyer and I'm trying to call and figure out what's going on. Tell me a little bit about, and there's a little bit of fiduciary duty, but tell me your client's situation. What's important to them? What are they trying to accomplish? Are they relocating? I try to get as many details so that we can creatively work together and put this deal together to make both of our clients happy. And I've also been on the end of the deal where I've got an agent who goes under contract and then sends me an email and says, don't call me anymore. Deal with my transaction coordinator. I'm off the charts now. Wrong. Like, they hired you to represent them. Why am I dealing with your, TCs 24/7? You don't want to talk to me anymore about this.
What if the TC is better than the agent?
Could be, but then why is that agent in the business and why is the TC not running? In my opinion, the TC is doing a better deal for the
TC
client.
may be an owl and they may need a lion.
Could be, but why is a lion never talking to me as another lion?
I'm just teasing.
See what I'm saying,
No,
though?
but I'm just messing with you because we just had a transaction where my TC actually, she was like, it improved when we got to the transaction coordinator because the other agent was
well, to the point, they probably didn't belong in the business and the TC had a better personality and skill. But that's just my point, is just that I think, and this isn't a single person, it's just as an industry whole, the barrier to entry is so easy. And that's why the failure rate's so high in this business, which has always bothered me again.
90 hours and basically $1,200 to $1,500. And
yeah, and it's crazy to me because in my head, I'm thinking, like, this is literally for, like, the biggest financial transaction for a lot of people. It is not everybody, but you're dealing with people's livelihoods here, where you're dealing with their money and their home, and they're trusting you to get them the best end result of that. And I think some people can't even get that result.
So if we got a van, you're going to be in the van with us. Cause I mean, the challenge of it is that the industry's not set up to change
100%.
because our national association benefits from having more members,
It's volume
and
based instead of
brokers
quality based.
benefit from more volume as well, and not focused on the experience. And that's why we started the podcast. So I'm glad if we.
I've always said raise the dues to $10,000 a year. See who's serious, right? Because guarantee you, you weed out the ones that are only in the business to do hardly anything, not really do a whole lot of results. You're going to naturally get their business.
Can you imagine the fun Slack? Remember when they raised the dues by $30? It's like the internet broke.
Well, the
because
quality
of the
will
amount
stay
of
because the quality
waste.
here for the right reasons. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
They're gonna like I would pay that in a heartbeat, just to stay in front of my clients and be there because at the end of the game, like I'm gonna be here for a long time. I really enjoy what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I love this topic a lot. I mean, I think what's
That catches heat. I'm gonna get. I guarantee
no,
you.
not from. Well, maybe I don't know.
Hold on. Let me see if we get into coffee.
Yeah, see if our brokers logged in yet.
Oh yeah. No.
I
But the
posted
thing
that in
is-
Arizona Real Estate Agent Forum.
Oh, well, that's not the right place to post that. You gotta know who your audience is. Well, I mean, no, but I think with the growth of teams, that eventually teams will have enough influence on the brokerage because even as HomeSmart gets more and more larger teams, it helps carry their brand,
It
and
does.
I think that that's going to be the switch is once there's enough large teams influencing that they'll be able to change brokers' opinion. I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going to be maybe it's going to be the downturn. Lots of people predicted that the downturn will, if it ever comes.
Every year,
right?
every time it downturns, it cleanses.
It cleanses.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah,
It gets
this has
harder.
been a long up.
The quality
rising market.
stays. Yeah.
Well, we do a team meet. Do you do a team meet? You said Tuesdays and Thursdays?
No,
Mondays and Thursdays.
Mondays and Thursdays. So we do a team meeting every Tuesday, and I presented a slide that since 2013, there's 30% more agents, but there's only 4% more transactions. So it's
There's
speaking
more
to
doing
your
less.
point. Yeah, there's
So-
more doing less, but it's actually that. So basically, we're going to eat ourselves, right? Like if we keep on producing more and more agents, eventually, it's going to cause a reduction in force because it will. There will. If the elite agents continue to grow as you continue to do well, as the other members that we have on the episode continue to grow and grow and grow,
Right.
it's going to cause a huge vacuum in the system. So,
I can see that.
all right,
It's a topic that we could go a lot deeper
Yeah.
on, but I feel like
Yeah.
we're already at the end of our
we are.
podcast.
So, is there anything that you wanted to say that we didn't ask the right question to get out?
I don't think so. You guys asked me a lot of good questions, so that was good. So I don't know.
I think that this was a fun one.
This was a great one. Yeah,
Thank
no,
you for coming.
I love
for
this.
coming
I
over
mean,
and chatting with us.
you can feel the enthusiasm.
No
Right?
question.
Like,
yeah, and I want it to continue, so I'm not going to ask more questions about anything else. So Blake,
Yeah, if there's anything you guys ever want to know, I'm happy to answer them. So
All right.
Oh,
Is
wow.
there anything that you'd want to ask us? But we can talk about it later. No good. All
Yeah.
good.
I
Ladies
saw
and
you guys
gentlemen,
work for Zillow. Is that what's on that coffee mug after I just
Zillow.
roasted them?
No,
Is that after I just roasted them?
No.
I see a Zillow- I'm
Wait,
starting to
I
see
mean-
the signs here because look, there's a Zillow
oh,
mouse
yeah,
pad.
yeah.
Drake,
Spotter.
we,
Is there anything
we
else
have,
around here?
we have full disclosure. We have done a lot of
Yeah.
business with Zillow.
Yep.
We've bought leads from them for a
Yep.
while. We were part of their seller.
So what's
offer
been your
program.
guys' experience with that? If we can go down that path real fast. 'Cause
Nice.
I like,
I like it. We're going to continue.
What
Let's do it.
specific question?
I don't. Well, you guys know my opinion, and I'll go deeper into that if you guys want. But I'm curious to hear if you guys are still advertising, why, and your thoughts on the industry
Well,
as far as advertising wise for other agents. So 'cause this is probably good for new agents. We always see that post, right? Should I
Well, they-
advertise with Zillow? So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on
So
it.
you can no longer advertise with Zillow in Maricopa County,
Okay,
right?
yep.
So now, technically, I guess we don't,
Right.
even though we still accept leads. We did sign the Flex agreement so that we were able to get leads.
Right.
It comes with a referral fee now.
But no more paying up front at all.
Sure,
It's
sure.
Only
Right.
yeah.
But we were paying up front. And what was interesting about the Zillow leads is that when you look at leads in general from people that are looking to move to Arizona and they're trying to figure out, do I go to Arizona or to Florida?
Right.
Or for people that they're further away.
Right.
When you get closer in and people are like, okay, I'm going to go to Arizona, but do I go to Queen Creek or do I go to Scottsdale?
Yep.
A little bit further out. And
Sure.
then you come in and you're like, okay, now I'm in Scottsdale. Do I buy in Greyhawk or do I go to Cactus Corridor?
Yep.
And then you get a little bit closer and you say, I want to see the house at 11211 Main Street.
Yep.
That's the closest lead in that realm, right? And Zillow was able to provide those at a higher rate
Per
Then
zip
we
code
could-
for you guys.
than we
Yep.
could find elsewhere. And so when it comes to keeping our team motivated, if we give them leads that are going to close sooner,
Mhm.
they continue to stay motivated to follow up with them because they don't have to play the long game. You know,
Gotcha.
the long game kills. The long game's a killer for a lot of sales.
Yeah, I like the long game.
I mean,
Dude,
but,
no
I mean,
doubt.
we're gonna do-
You're a team lead. You have to like the long
Yeah.
game.
we're gonna do in the realm of $35 million in Zillow lead
Mhm.
production this year.
Sure.
So it's hard to say that it's easier to become a fan when you are generating that kind of revenue off.
Yeah.
Because what it is it's just making relationships for us.
Yeah.
Because now we love on those people. We have a client event. We invite them. They're just normal people when we
Yeah.
meet them. They just happen to come that way. And
Sure.
now
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
taking a piece of that pie.
Right.
You know, it's do we look at it as they're the frenemy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. But but do I like checks from frenemies?
Like, even,
Yes.
But even if I had a friend in Flagstaff that referred me an agent, or referred me a client, I would gladly pay that person a referral fee.
Yeah.
I don't look at that person as a frenemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
inbound leads.
But let me
great.
take it another way. So that's just one piece of it. The other piece of it is that why we started a closer relationship with Zillow was in the last 7 years, I've been on 1,200 listing appointments.
Sure.
Right. Like, so a decent amount.
Yep.
And every one of those people that I met with, when I asked them, they were aware of Zillow.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
understanding and starting to get familiar with the idea that the consumer is very familiar. So we realized that if we wanted to drive more traffic to our listings, we had to figure out this path, this animal between us and because ultimately we always figure because we're after top dollar for our clients.
Sure.
Like we really work hard to drive as much traffic in the goal to try and sell the house for the highest amount of money.
Sure.
And that we had to figure out that beast.
Sure.
And getting closer to it was a way of getting more traffic to our listings.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's just
I didn't like them for one when we used to advertise with them.
I used the word.
We had
like.
the market share where you basically paid for a percentage of it, and then they would outsell us. So
Oh,
it's
that's horseshit.
So we had to buy it
Oh,
out.
no,
And so that's that's how it was when we were
I
advertising
know.
with them.
No, is why I didn't buy more as well.
Second
Same
half of
thing.
it with the long term with me was when you put your hands of your business, and you guys are a little more established with this for newer agents. When you put your hands of your business in one company, let's say tomorrow they go away, where's your business go? So if I can
No
coach
question.
my agents to generate
question.
leads from a more long-term perspective,
Yeah.
such as building your brand, social media brand, targeting your areas, your niches. And we do paid traffic. We do some Facebook ads. We do some Instagram traffic. We do Google paid per click traffic. Those leads take a little more longer, but number one, that gives me an opportunity to help my agents build more of a skill set, because I don't want to just hand them hot stuff and say, here you go. Because that's how agents like that burn out. They get unmotivated, to your point, right? Like, oh, we got to keep them hot. Well, if you can't stick with this for 6 months, this is the wrong business for you. I almost want them to take 6 months to get deals
Yes.
personally, to build that success rate up, but also to build their brand where they're never relying on paid per click traffic. So that's one of the reasons we got away from Zillow too. So
I mean,
they were very against
over the
us.
less-
And it sounds like they've changed their business model, because I'll be first and foremost, we haven't advertised with them in probably over a year.
Yeah.
But we bought out an entire market at one point, and where we're at, like, and
Well,
I'll let you guys know how much that cost. You guys know,
No,
but
but the Zillow was the first one to do math in a way where I realized 100% actually equals 300%.
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I thought 100%
They're
was
like,
all.
no, it's totally cool. You closed 5 deals. I'm like, yeah, but how much did it cost me? That's a break even. That's not a good business model. For
But I
us,
mean,
at least.
last year we did in the range of 20 million from Zillow,
right.
but we did 60 million in internet leads. So it was only still a third.
Yep.
But I mean, out of the total 107 million that you did in my name, it was still only a piece of it.
Sure. Sure.
But that was the thing is we realized that the same thought that you had is, I don't know how much I like. I'm worried about where they're going. And,
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. We basically just changed direction before I'm one of those guys. I said I always think long term, and if there's anything standing in my way of business, I'm going to identify that right now. So Zillow being one of them on the real estate side of things is, okay, if we go down this path of, as a newer agent, paying for leads, what happens if tomorrow they're gone? Well, where's my business gone? So
that's your only lead source.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
but you set out from the front that it was.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I love the conversation. Forgive us for going long.
No, we're fine.
But in a sense, you could make a similar argument, and I'm just in my head right now.
Yep.
But isn't that you can make all the same arguments about Facebook, or about Google, or about Instagram, where you get if my whole brand is built on Facebook, let's say,
Yep.
Facebook could go away tomorrow because that's
Yep.
a company. Same logic, but why does that one work and the other one doesn't?
In my opinion, I don't know. I would say you're probably right on some of that. But I think as far as just building a brand for yourself, like Facebook, Instagram, you have an actual profile where Zillow. I mean, yeah, you got a profile on Zillow, but most people interact with us via social media and who we are as a person. Like Zillow, you can't go on there and say, here's who I am. Here's the person I am. Yeah, I sold some homes. Cool. Got your reviews on there. It helps in some ways, but I can tell you from a person who's done all of them with somebody who's getting 100% organic leads monthly just off of me being me on social media and sharing myself with the world as a person, I don't have to pay for that.
Yeah, but not everybody's as interesting as you are.
Well,
Well, and I think when I hear the conversation of I don't have to pay for that,
right.
what I hear is I'm getting business off of doing what I enjoy, so I
Yeah.
don't consider it work.
100%, which is how I try to coach all my agents. Like I said, and again, we do paid traffic to bring in leads for some of the newer agents to try to get their business, like especially the ones that are new here, don't have that sphere of influence, maybe are at a little bit of a handicap from that perspective. But that
You don't do any remarketing on Facebook to past clients?
no,
Just your
we do past clients. They're a friend of mine on Facebook.
Yeah.
Every birthday I'm commenting, every family event I'm commenting. If we see something where something tragic happened,
So
guess who shows up at their house and knocks on the door? Me. I'll talk to them. I'll bring them a gift.
our friend Shannon in our last episode said that she does 2 hours a day. What's that number for you on social media?
Social media, probably about the same, 2-3 hours a day.
And that's commenting.
Commenting,
Running
posting content, stuff, just sharing what I'm doing. If I'm out, like for me, it's easy. I just have my days are so packed with doing stuff that like I'll just be out. Like this morning, you guys can find me on Instagram. There's a video on there of me dropping my kids off and just completely embarrassing them, just because that's the kind of dad I am.
train horn? Or
No, just yelling at them. But which today I was like, dang, I actually really need a megaphone because like all the kids
I
from
got
school
one.
are sitting.
We got one
That's what
for
I'm
you.
saying. See? Just doing stuff like that. Just sharing a little bit. But again, it's so if you guys.
Was that the overly affectionate dad?
Yeah, love you guys. Yeah. Windows down. My kid, like my son was like hiding in the back seat. He's like, I'm like, get out of the car. He's like, no, I'm not getting out. All his friends are out there. And then the next clip, you see him just like running like Forrest Gump down,
Yeah.
like trying to get away from me real fast. So
Nice.
just doing stuff like that with them. So I share a lot of the fun stuff, but I share the deals. I share here's what we're looking at. I share when we're going to write an offer. Here's what we're looking at. Here's what we're considering. And I'll even ask my audience, what do you guys think? If you were a buyer, what would be most important? Getting the price down, having the seller fix this. Like I walk them through and it's almost interactive, I guess you want to call it that way. Just because I like to hear feedback on my buyers on how they would approach a deal. Just always fun to hear different things. And it makes them feel a little more involved in how we do stuff. So
One of the things that, just to answer the question I had
Mhm.
previously about the Facebook, if Facebook goes away,
Yep.
is I've seen social networks come and go.
Yep.
Because as you have,
Yep.
right, where you've
Yep.
got Snapchat that was talked about.
MySpace.
and I barely heard about it. But one thing that has transferred from each of those is the ability to communicate on those platforms.
Yeah.
So if you figured out how to do that on Twitter and then Facebook came along, that skill set you can build on. It's not like you're starting over from scratch.
You
100%.
got because he got his from Twitter
100%.
and it carried over
Yeah.
into Facebook and
You gotta be
Instagram.
social savvy for sure.
And
But you gotta
I'm
figure
not. I'm not as social. I missed it. Right. Like I'm.
communicating online with just your whatever posts that you have that's online as
Yeah.
opposed to in real life, because this
Right.
you got like this easy, right?
Right.
But then can you transfer this
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
internet?
No, but I would say that's the common theme from the last two guests is
whether
their
Facebook
ability
goes
to.
away or
Yeah.
not, let's say that Facebook is gone and now it's WeChat, like same basic
Same concept.
concept.
We're
Right.
we're gonna evolve. and we're
Except
gonna move
it's owned by
platforms.
China.
Same basic- Right?
Well,
we don't talk politics here, Jeff.
I'm
Remember?
not
I think
talking-
no.
I
I think the biggest thing is though is that my whole thing is like if you guys follow, and I invite anybody, if you follow my team, I got 13. Follow everyone. To your point, there's a lady Diane.
What's up, Diane?
Older agent, very successful old agent who's been in the business for a long time. When I say old, not age-wise, I'm saying older, like tenured as far as been in the business for a long time. And she didn't have social media, and even she has been adapting. I'm like, you're on the team. This is what you're doing. You're going to build it. And she's a big Zillow advocate as far as she has a really good established profile on there and everything. But there's so many different ways to target like local people, stay in front of them. To your point, stay in front of past clients. That's my database. I throw them on Facebook. I stay in front of them. I comment on them. They don't just sit in the CRM all day, So, and again, it's just a way to share. Like you guys said,
structured than that. I hear you're saying, but I
Like-
don't believe it.
like you
You're
guys
more
said,
structured than that. You're
like-
just not letting it
like
out.
you guys said
No
right here,
way.
I have a
No way.
day-to-day structure,
Okay.
but I don't use my CRM, Facebook.
Yeah, but you
You guys don't believe me? I'll give you my login.
no.
I actually use Sync the same way you guys
I
do.
believe you. I believe that he uses Facebook and Instagram as his CRM tool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right.
That's how I stay in front of my
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
How
you
else
don't
would I know
search
what's
them
going
out.
on in their
Are
lives?
you then like, because you were talking about you on their birthday, you track down I think you're probably savvy enough that you're looking to see what they did, so
Yeah.
then you can add some.
Well,
So then your day to day.
I take it a step further. I have like almost 3,000 friends on Facebook, and I'll add a friend. I get a lot, especially like other real estate agents and stuff like
they
that.
love to add you.
Love to add people. I get like 40 requests a day. It's crazy.
Make it 41.
Dude, and so I'll go through, and if I see that they're even the kind of person that's just sharing cat memes all day and just ridiculous stuff, like I unfollow them. Like they'll still be friends, but I don't see them. So I only see in my feed, even though I have 3,000 people like my past clients that are important to me.
All right. So then on
friends.
your day to day, do you have then whether you use Sync or whatever, you've got a list of how many past clients? Over 140. You had 140 cakes last year.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you get all 140? Is your day to day the first 15 on the list, and then the next day is the next 15, and the next day is the next 15? Like, how do
No,
you
I
make
just
sure
cruise.
that-
I got clients that don't even use Facebook either, and I'll have
Yeah.
them on my phone, and there's times I'll scroll through and check them. There's going to be something.
How do you read? I mean, but are you following a calendar of making sure that you touch? Like, what is the point in
If
which?
they're on Facebook and social media, most of them are.
No, but you
Following
can.
me.
But if they're
But
not,
140.
Oh,
you
if they're
can-
not, then I have them in my CRM. Like, for example, if we have holiday parties quarterly and stuff, we'll go through and I'll blast my CRM and I'll invite them if they're not on Facebook. Shoot them a text, shoot them a call. Hey, we're throwing a party or something like that. Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you use text blasting tools outside of Sync?
No.
You just one-off text them,
Yeah.
or you text them from
Yeah,
Sync?
it's more authentic that way. I like talking to people.
We do too. Don't get me wrong. We just did a movie event where the amount of people that we talked to, that it was awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And your past clients are the ones that you're like,
It's
so
a
good to hear
good time
from
to
you."
follow. I genuinely enjoy like our holiday. We just threw one at Fire Ice right there in Scottsdale. We rented out it's at the Odyssey Aquarium over there.
Is that the ice bar?
Yeah. Don't
Thing?
don't throw a party event there, by the way.
That's
I'm not
awesome.
giving them it went bad. We were supposed to rent the whole place out 3 o'clock to 6 for all our clients. I had like 50 of them showing up. We get there at 2:30. It's like full of people. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? We have this place rented. And apparently the project manager of that place didn't relay that to the manager. And I'm like, well, everybody's got to go. There's I felt so bad. These kids having birthday parties and stuff in there. I'm like, oh, I paid for this.
But he loves people.
I was like, I got 50 people coming right
Yeah. We all got tribes.
We had like 50 clients going. I'm like, you guys, it was so stressful. So I do not recommend that place at all. It went good. It was fun, but yeah. So we do stuff, but I look forward to that. It's
It's
fun.
fire and ice, though. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool
Yeah.
place. Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't throw parties there. It's a
Okay.
really cool place.
Mm.
So
All right. Blake, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Yeah.
I
rocked it.
feel
I
that we
loved
can
it.
turn the mics
Yeah.
off and continue the conversation.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. 107th episode of The Solution.
Yeah.
Blake Clark, follow him on Facebook,
Thanks, guys.
Instagram. Check out what he's
Appreciate
up to. Peace.